Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. What up, viewers? What up, what up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, November 5th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Starting off today, we have for 2 video game launches. For Forza Horizon 5, which is doing quite well from what I hear, or at least it's reviewing well. It's currently sitting at a 91 Metacritic. So this now kind of, there's been quite some contention through games Twitter for the last couple months that Xbox has had a pretty limited slate of exclusives, but everyone they release has been decently received. So we have Forza Horizon 5 came out today, currently at a 91 Metacritic. Microsoft Flight Simulator was getting a lot of buzz, also in the 90s for a Metacritic score. I know that we haven't seen Halo Infinite, but I assume I'm fanboying a little bit, thinking that it might get a pretty decent score, even though it won't have cooperative, which does kind of hurt the series as a whole. But the one trailer for Halo Infinite this week was actually pretty moving, so go and try and find that out. But overall, I think the haters are going to hate, and Xbox has got a pretty decent number of exclusives, and proven this week by Forza Horizon 5 coming to Xbox. Also, the live action trailer was actually quite fun. It was about 3 minutes long, and it featured Danny Rojas, the Football is Life guy from Ted Lasso. So it was pretty fun. It was nice seeing him in something other than Ted Lasso. So go and check out that trailer as well. All in all, I might actually download. I haven't played a racing game in quite some time, so to kind of get into this like open world racing could be a fun thing to check out on my stream at some point. So looking forward to diving into that sometime soon. Also, it kind of made me think maybe I should have gone back and played Microsoft Flight Simulator, because that really did get a lot of buzz. I think that launched at a 92 Metacritic. So, sometimes, just because they don't have the exclusives you want doesn't mean that they don't have pretty good exclusives. So that's all I have to say about that. Please don't at me. Moving right along, another installment in the long-running annual releases of Call of Duty. Call of Duty Vanguard is here. It is currently sitting at a 77 Metacritic. I think that they've been building up a lot of through the campaign over the last couple months, really emphasizing the zombie modes and different ways that they're going to innovate there. We have gotten a lot of reaction this year about some games being tired in their formula, so I wonder if that will affect Call of Duty. I know that they were off a little bit on World War II last year, so yeah, I like I've said before, no doubt that this probably still will be the #1 game of the year, but I just imagine that they might be a little bit off the numbers, because I don't think there's been as much hype for Call of Duty titles, and I think the zeitgeist of the gaming community is moving a little bit away from kind of these tried and true formulas into something more innovative. Like people, there's a lot of different games out there that come out every year, and I think people are just, constantly looking for something new and exciting and unique in a more mature game space. So I don't think a annual released Call of Duty represents that necessarily, but a billion people will still play it. So don't mind my musings, but I do somewhat predict that it'll be a little bit down this year, but only time will tell. Also producing big buzz this week was Elden Ring had released a pretty in-depth, like 19 minutes of gameplay, which was really interesting. I had no interest in Elden Ring going in. I thought it was a little bit overhyped. But from what I saw, the mechanics are a lot more than what we've seen in a Dark Souls, a Soulsborne game before today. So yeah, very exciting stuff happening at From Software with Elden Ring. They showed off a little bit of the co-op gameplay, which seemed pretty fun and impressive. There's been co-op in the game before, but this looked a little bit more fleshed out. The mounted combat was actually something I was kind of hesitant about, something that really breaks away from the Dark Souls formula, but looked like it fit right in with the world, really big open world, and you're fighting bosses in big open fields, so go ahead and ride your horse or yak or whatever the character was riding while you're defeating a dragon. So pretty cool stuff there. And then I was also a little bit impressed with the art direction that they're going with here. I don't know if it's been a trajectory over time, or it's been kind of over time. The Dark Souls games have been getting brighter and brighter, but this one really was really bright, like big bright fields, you know, not like a dark, desolate, you know, apocalyptic kind of world that mostly we've seen in the Soulsborne games. So really bright, really colorful. They got the tree spirit in the sky, and you know, big green open fields. So yeah, I just kind of thought this week that yeah, the games have been getting brighter, and I kind of like being able to see a little bit more of the world rather than the muted color tones, which sets a different vibe, which I think they're going for in the Dark Souls game. But I'm kind of excited for a bright and colorful world. So let me know what you think of the Elden Ring gameplay demo down below in the comments. Blizzard has fallen on hard times, and while they do have other things to consider, a little bit more systemic problems there at Blizzard. We did get kind of an announcement this week talking about the sequels coming up. Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 have been slipped out. We didn't know when they were coming anyway, but Blizzard announced this week that the titles will be taking a little bit more time, and some might even come out in 2023. So, you know, if we were expecting Blizzard to kind of make a comeback in 22, it doesn't look like that will be happening. So I think they've got their own issues that they've got to solve before, you know, rightly so. So I think the gameplay and stuff like that or the games have fallen on that. Plus, developing in COVID is always hard. So you know, all reasonable things to expect, and I'm excited for Diablo 4 whenever it gets here. So looking forward to that sometime soon. Well, in the next year or so, or more than a year. But 22 is already looking pretty stacked, as all of the 21 games got pushed to it. So I'll have plenty to play next year while I'm waiting for Diablo 4. Switching gears a little bit, Devolver Digital, everyone's favorite E3 conference with Nina Struthers, they're up to some craziness again. They've gone public. I thought it was a little interesting that they went public on the London Stock Exchange, considering Devolver is based out of Texas, I believe. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. Someone who knows a little bit more about economics would probably tell me why they did that, as opposed to going public in America. But like I said, don't have an economics degree, so don't know why that is. But I think it was actually a pretty good move. We've already seen that Sony and NetEase have taken big bites of the apple. I think that's probably to get at them. Devolver's been making a lot of really good choices. I think they've had a little bit of a Midas touch over the last year or two, if not more. Just off the top of my head, the last couple I could think of were like Carrion was pretty well received. Fall Guys, obviously one of the biggest games in 2020. Then even this year, like Loop Hero captured the world by storm a little bit. Death's Door's got a little bit smaller of a community, but really fervent community. And then even something as recent as Inscription, really getting those Halloween vibes, and lots of overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. So I think they've had a little bit of a Midas touch, and I think this is actually a really good time for them to go public, because they're going to be evaluated. I think the evaluation was like somewhere near $1 billion. So they're doing really good work, and very excited to see what's coming next for Devolver. Yeah, I think most of the time when I'm like watching an indie game trailer, if I see Devolver in there, I'm like, that they're doing good stuff. So they've got a good team there, and glad to see that they're kind of getting rewarded for all their hard work. So good job at Devolver, and hopefully looking forward to seeing more coming from them even as they go public this week. Also, speaking of some pretty big companies, Epic and Riot are collaborating to bring League of Legends and all of Riot and Valorant and all of Riot's games to the Epic Game Store. Part of this, I think, is a promotion around, or a celebration around, the fact that Arcane is coming to Netflix, the League of Legends TV show. So, you know, that's coming out tomorrow on November 6th. So if you're looking forward to that, let me know. I'm pretty excited to see kind of how they transition from you know, video game to a story like that. So looking forward to that. I also see a little bit of the purse strings of Tencent behind this. The fact that both companies are owned by Tencent or partially owned by Tencent. I think there's a little bit of that coming into play here. So we don't see you, Tencent, working in the background as much as they like to work in the background. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that involved as well. But yeah, overall, bringing more games to different platforms is always a good thing, although it's not going to get me to download the Epic Game Store. So I'll check it out like I normally would anywhere else. Man, I sound really harsh on the Epic Game Store when I don't necessarily mean to. I just think there's a lot of different video game browsers out there, and I only want one or two to get me through my days. So anyway, speaking of Netflix, the Netflix of games is here, and it's brought to you by Netflix. Except for it's only for Android users, and it's 5 games. So not quite the Netflix of games that we wanted, but yeah, Netflix is officially streaming video games. So Android users using Netflix can open up the 5 games, and they're all I think like the owned and operated Netflix games. So the Stranger Things games and a couple others are in there. So yeah, you can now on your phone go in and activate and play on your Android phone. So I haven't seen the experience or anything like that, but it's here. Netflix is officially kind of continuing to slowly nudge their way into video games, and they're doing it a little bit at a time. So it'll get there. I think it's a long ways away from market dominance, but that's what I think everybody said about Netflix to begin with. So interesting to see kind of as this develops over time. And if anybody's got the money to kind of shell out to get some licensed games or to get some exclusivity, I think Netflix probably has that money. So looking forward to seeing what they could potentially do with that. Much like Epic does with a lot of their game exclusives. So yeah, interesting to see what happens there. Moving right along, the Total War Warhammer 3, we've been waiting for a release date for quite some time. We thought it might come towards the end of the year, although, you know, the fact that we're in November now and hadn't heard too much, I wasn't too hopeful that it was coming in the end of the year. So, but it is coming in Q1 of next year. We got an official release date of February 17th of next year. So expect to play with all of your Chaos Knights and all the different gods of Warhammer next year on February 17th. The trailer also included that they're adding the Ogre Kingdoms, one of my favorite races from the Warhammer fantasy setting. So and they had their whole set. They had actually like an ogre drinking song, which is actually a really fun trailer. So I'll have a link down below that you should check that out. It's pretty fun. I really like the ogres where all they care about is eating their enemies. So pretty fun stuff there. For those looking to scratch that Dune itch that was left by Denis Villeneuve's latest movie, there is a game currently in production. So there's an official game coming from Funcom. That's the developers behind Conan Exiles. So if you have any sense of Conan Exiles, it's going to be kind of an RPG with an open world, and Conan Exiles is already pretty sandy, so it's going to be pretty easy to kind of see how they port that over. But I'll be interested to see if there's any kind of politics involved, maybe learn something from New Worlds with different factions competing for resources. Could be pretty fun there. But yeah, I could expect a open world kind of stealth, maybe survival game is in the works. But if you're looking for something a little bit more immediate, the article I read also talked about a new release onto Steam Early Access, which was Star Sand. Star Sand is an open world survival game where you kind of build your house and settlement in a desert. So, you know, rather than being in the lush biomes of like a rust or something like that, you're kind of set into a desert biome, you know, not like the forest or anything like that, but very much a survival game set in the desert. So could be fun to check that out as well. Last but certainly not least, Skyrim, while coming to all platforms, I think it's been on every platform known to man. So Skyrim is now coming to a different platform. It is coming to life in a board game next year. So next year there will be a Skyrim miniatures board game with a bunch of different scenarios that you can play through with your board gaming friends. So if you haven't played Skyrim on Alexa or on your PlayStation or back on your 360 or any of that stuff, you can now play Skyrim on your desktop with on your tabletop with a bunch of friends. So you're looking for something to do next year, and with a bunch of people who haven't played Skyrim, which is probably few and far between, feel free to check that out next year. I'll have a link all about it down below in the description. That's it for this week. If there's anything you feel I forgot, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!